Hey friend, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Today's podcast is for you if you find yourself struggling with constantly feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you want to be really productive, but you're just kind of scrambling, spinning your wheels. You wish you could actually be more productive, but you can't seem to figure out how to make that happen. If that is you, then I have a tip today to help you out. Let's go ahead and get started.
Hi friend, do you dream of having a garden but you don't know where to start? Do you want to switch to more natural products but feel overwhelmed by all the options? Do you believe that a holistic lifestyle would help your special needs kiddo but you're daunted by all the information out there? Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast, where you will learn how to work towards your dream for homesteading, gardening, and holistic living in small, simple steps that won't overwhelm you. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, Jesus follower, and mom to some amazing kids. As some of my kids began experiencing health struggles and developmental delays, I decided it was time to switch to a holistic lifestyle. I quickly became stressed out and burnt out, feeling like I needed to change everything at once. I finally realized that I had to start making one small change at a time, then build from there. I learned to walk this holistic journey in a way that works for me and my family, without stress or overwhelm or constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. If you're ready to hear from another mama who understands what it's like to have no time and who can help you make changes towards better health for your family in a way that works for your specific life, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in your earbuds, reheat your coffee for the third time, and let's do this.
So I know I am probably not alone in this struggle. I've had times where it feels like my to-do list is absolutely never ending. I feel like I cross one thing off and then add 3 more things on it. I don't know what I'm making for dinner that night. I'm going nonstop, doing things all day. But then, at the end of the day, it feels like, did I even accomplish anything? I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel like I did what I really needed to do. And it really sets up these feelings of constantly feeling stressed and overwhelmed, but also of feeling as if we are inadequate. And what I have found to help is this one habit that I want to share with you as well. And we're going to do this one habit in about 5 to 10 minutes a day. I like to do it the night before, or if you're more of an early morning person, then you could do it the morning, like in your morning routine, whichever one works best for you. But it's going to help you to focus on the main goals for that day. And I also think it's really going to help you to feel more accomplished by the end of the day. So what we're going to do is it's going to help us to prioritize and focus on what needs to be done the most. Instead of, if you're like me, I start working on something else and then I get distracted by something else I see, like a mess that needs to be cleaned up. Then I go do that. And then I see another mess and then I forgot what I was doing in the first place. And then I notice that again and I go back over and start that again. And so I'm constantly going and doing, but not ever actually feeling like I'm accomplishing. So how can we really help our brains to focus on what's most important? In my opinion, keeping a list of 3 things to do for that day really means that we can keep the number small, and it's things that we can reasonably accomplish within a day. So I like to sit down the night before, and I actually have a sheet of paper that I use to plan out my next day. It sounds very complicated. It's not. I'm not into the planners that have you scheduling out your days by the hour. That is not me. I need very broad pictured. I want to have flexibility. So I sit down with this planner. It's like a sheet of paper it's a printable that I made. I'll share with you guys below. And I write out what are my 3 most important things that I need to focus on tomorrow. And what I really like about this is that it signals to my brain, these are the 3 important things. And when these 3 things are done, then I'm finished for the day. I accomplished what I needed to accomplish. So I'm not ending up at the end of the day having done a ton of stuff and then still feeling like I didn't actually accomplish anything, because I can look at my list and say, okay, I did it. I did those 3 things. I am not really into meal planning, as in I don't want to plan out a week of meals and say Monday I'm having this, Tuesday I'm having this, Wednesday I'm having that. I typically will either plan a month's worth of food that we want to use, or I'll have 10 to 12 rotating recipes. So the other thing that I've been doing is I created a slot on my sheet of paper where I can write in what we're going to have for meals for the next day. And again, I'm just planning out, spending a little bit of time to be intentional, to say, okay, out of either my month's worth of meals or this 10 to 12 meal idea list that I have, what is it that I want to cook tomorrow? Do I need something faster? Am I wanting a crock pot recipe? Are we going to do leftovers? It's just me taking a little bit of time to plan ahead for tomorrow in a way that doesn't feel daunting or overwhelming, but also what helps is that then tomorrow I already know what it is we're going to have. If I need to set out meat to thaw, then I will have either done that the night before or can do that the next morning. But in the back of my mind all day, I'm not stressed out trying to figure out, oh goodness, 5 o'clock is going to come and I don't have anything planned for dinner, or I'm trying to get up the next morning and scramble to figure out what it is we're going to have. That is already thought about, and I can prepare what it is that I need to prepare. But I find that just having to think about like the next day is less overwhelming than saying Monday I'm having this, Tuesday I'm having that, Wednesday I'm having that. Because I just like the flexibility of saying, hey, today this is what sounds good. Or I don't really want this, or it's super busy, and so let's just do leftovers instead. I just like having that flexibility. But also I think finding the happy balance between having no plan at all and having a little bit of a plan has been to include having what it is we're going to have for meals on this piece of paper. I also have a spot on my paper for a brain dump because I have found that it really helps me to get all of my thoughts and ideas and tasks out for the day. So what I often will do is like write down everything I can think of that needs to be accomplished, that is important, that is an idea I have or whatever. And then I can go and I can look through that list and easily pick, okay, out of these things that are weighing on my mind right now, what are the 3 things that are the most important to me? And then I move those 3 things over to my slot where it's like, okay, these are the 3 tasks to accomplish today. And I know I've shared this in other episodes, but I think that the main key and what has helped me to be successful is that as I'm looking at those 3 tasks that I want to accomplish for that day, the key for me is to break down those tasks to make sure that the 3 things I'm writing out don't take me longer than 15 to 20 minutes per task. Especially for me being home with busy kids, if I'm trying to plan out something that's going to take me an hour, it's probably not going to happen. Then I'm going to end up at the end of the day looking at the list and saying, oh great, I didn't accomplish 2 of these, because I really set myself up for failure by choosing tasks that I really didn't have the time to accomplish. So trying to break things down into something that's going to take me 15 or 20 minutes at a time has been really, really helpful for me because it doesn't feel too difficult. It's not too time consuming and it doesn't feel overwhelming to my brain. So it's just easy for me to get started instead of choosing to procrastinate because it feels very, very hard. So I'll give you an example of this. Let's say my task in the past, I would have wrote down, oh, I need to deep clean the kitchen. And that would have taken me an hour. And subconsciously in my mind, my brain is telling me, like, you don't have an hour to deep clean the kitchen, so I just don't deep clean the kitchen. What I've found to be helpful instead is, let's say I write on my brain dump list, okay, a goal is to deep clean the kitchen. Whenever I look at that to go look at what are my 3 tasks, instead of writing deep clean the kitchen as one task, instead I would say, okay, how can I break this down a little bit smaller? So for that day, maybe my 3 tasks would be, one task is to clean out the refrigerator. And then another one is to declutter the dishes cabinet. And then my 3rd task would be to clean out the microwave and the oven. So I have 3 very specific tasks that are going to move me towards the goal of deep cleaning the kitchen, but they don't feel overwhelming. Like, oh, I could easily knock out cleaning the refrigerator in 15 minutes. Well, why don't I do that while I have a little bit of spare time while my kids are doing something else? It just makes it more manageable, and it makes it, I think, more likely that we're actually going to get these things accomplished. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Like I said, I do have a document I'll share in the show notes below that has really been beneficial for me to use. And I just print it out and make copies of it and just use it every day. That way I can stay focused and really move forward on the goals that do matter to me, but in a way that is manageable, that doesn't leave me feeling like, wow, I just really failed on that and wishing that I had done more. I feel like it just keeps me in check because I have a tendency to set big goals and to bite off more than I can chew. So this really just helps me to kind of be focused, but also be realistic about what it is that I can accomplish. So I'll have that link in the show notes below. I would love for you to come over to our Facebook community once you print that out and take a picture of it and share it with us. Share with us what your 3 tasks are for the next day, for Wednesday, and we can encourage you in that. You can find us at bit.ly/motherhood community, or I will also have the link down in the show notes below. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back next time.
Hey mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.